I bet all of you are staring at this slideshow right now and are thinking, this entire EBS Talks is about Earth, Max. Earth, not Mars. What in tarnation are you doing, you crazed whippersnapper? Well, just in case Earth gets completely annihilated by an asteroid, or artificial intelligence goes haywire and causes a replay of the Terminator, we have Mars. In order for humans to thrive beyond the ruination of the Earth, we must become an interplanetary species. So, what is colonizing and what is terraforming? The term colonizing means to take control of an area, whereas terraforming, literally meaning earth-shaping, is the process of changing a planet's living conditions in order to make it more habitable. Why Mars? Mars is very, very, very similar to Earth, and it's right next to us. But before we terraform Mars, we must first colonize it. Humans need 4 things to survive on Earth: food, water, shelter, and clothing. However, to survive on Mars, humans need 5 things: food, water, shelter, clothing, and oxygen. For food, unfortunately for those meat lovers out there, colonists will be vegetarian. So I guess meatless Mondays would be a good practice for this. Thanks a lot, Sustainability Committee. Plants will be grown in greenhouses or growth chambers buried under mounds of soil. Regardless of where they are grown, hydroponics growing plants in nutrient-rich water will be used. On Mars, there are many sources from which water can be extracted. It can be retrieved from the ice, the regolith, also known as Martian soil, or the humid atmosphere. Although there are around 1 million cubic waters in which virtually all of it is ice, an immense amount of energy would be required to liquefy it. Another method of retrieving water is by literally putting the Martian soil in ovens and heating it up until the ice inside the regolith evaporates. The steam can then be distilled and filtered into drinkable water. Water can also be extracted from the humid Martian atmosphere by using a water vapor absorption reactor, as you can see right there. Since the Martian humidity level is often at 100%, this method is probably the most efficient. Shelter. Since colonists will be exposed to cosmic radiation more so compared to Earth due to the lack of a thick atmosphere, buildings will be made of regolith bricks that can be crafted on Mars. These buildings will have walls around 10 feet thick to prevent radiation exposure. The atmospheric pressure on Mars is less than 1% of that of Earth. Colonists would have to wear pressure suits at all times. That would suck. That's why Davin Newman, the Apollo professor of astronautics at MIT, is currently working on unpressurized, flexible, lighter spacesuit designs. She says that physiologically, humans only need 1/3 of the pressure found on Earth. Oxygen on Mars is also a choking problem. Get it? Choking. Because Mars barely has any oxygen? No. Okay, moving on. Despite what most people think about oxygen on Mars, there's actually a lot of it. The Martian atmosphere is 95% carbon dioxide, and by molecular weight, carbon dioxide is 28% carbon and 72% oxygen, meaning that the entire Martian atmosphere by mass is at least 70% oxygen. Using a device created by NASA called the Mars Oxygen In Situ Resources Utilization Experiment, a very long name, I know. MOXIE for short, the oxygen can be separated from the carbon. There's one more method to obtaining oxygen that kills 2 birds with 1 stone: the electrolysis of water. Now, this chemical reaction is amazing. By separating the hydrogen and oxygen atoms from water, you are supplied with both oxygen for breathing and hydrogen, which can be used for fuel or as a power source. It's almost essential to colonizing Mars. Finally, terraforming. Terraforming Mars is much simpler than what most people would anticipate. The only thing needed is for temperatures to rise. Once they do, a chain reaction is set off. Gases that were frozen would then be released. Such gases would boost the atmosphere, resulting in more density, which will then create a greenhouse effect, etc. There are 3 methods to warming up Mars. The first method is to literally build giant mirrors that would reflect sunlight back onto the surface of Mars. The second is to locate an asteroid containing frozen ammonia, which can be a substitute for the nitrogen found on Earth, and steer it into a collision course with Mars. And the third and final method is to create a new species of bacteria that live on mineral deposits in the Martian regolith. This bacteria will spew out ammonia and methane, thus warming the planet. Despite how crazy these methods sound, they are all plausible. All in all, colonizing and even terraforming Mars are not works of science fiction, which is why scientists are gathering and working together to go beyond Earth. Living in Mars may sound cool, but I assure you that most people will abhor it. You might wake up one day in your Mars dirt brick house, forget to put on your spacesuit, walk outside, and die of cerebral hypoxia. Ouch. This is why we should take better care of our planet in hopes that we will never, ever have to live on Mars. Thank you.